Hey everyone, how's it going? iamxeracon here with another video. It's good to be back. Well, back on camera I should say, because the last, 3 or 4 videos, I've been, just on microphone. Still haven't been able to get the whole camera, computer thing situated out, which is why I'm going to be sort of jumping back and forth. And even though I won't be using my mic, for the video because it's like just hard to get everything worked out with the Windows camera app. I'm just going to be using the camera that I've been wanting to use. Even though the audio's not that great on there, I still would rather do that than try to jump through so many hoops with trying to get the thing to run right on my computer with the app, until I can figure out something else to do. So if I'm using the camera, I'll be doing this setup. If I just want to do the voiceover and stuff, I'll just be using my mic itself in Audacity, which is still weird. I think it's the computer thing, not the actual mic thing, because things have been fine with the mic, but not necessarily just running on the computer. But yeah, so that's that. So today's topic is talking about multiplayer and Metroid. Specifically Metroid Prime 4, but why it's something that shouldn't necessarily be in there, but if it is there, it shouldn't be a core focus. And what do I mean by that? Well, look at every Metroid game, alright? Look at every Metroid game that has been made. You have the original, you have the sequel, Metroid 2, and for the record, just with the exception of Prime, Pinball, with Metroid, with that exclusion, I have played, I won't necessarily say I've beaten, but I've played, all of the Metroid games. I still need to get back Fusion because I sold that a long time ago, and I regret that now. But that's the one that I'm missing, that I need to get I need to get an actual physical copy of the original and Return of Samus for NES and Game Boy. I have those on the Nintendo eShop or NES Classic, or other methods, whatever. Don't worry, they're all legal. But think about all of them and think of how they've gone. Metroid 1, and then for that matter, the remake, Zero Mission, which, fantastic. No multiplayer. Then you go to 2, 3, 4, and even, Samus Returns, the remake. No multiplayer. Go to 3, which was Super Metroid. No multiplayer. You go to 4, which was Fusion. No multiplayer. Prime 1. No multiplayer. Prime 2. No multiplayer. Prime 3. No multiplayer. Other M. No multiplayer. Metroid Prime Pinball. No multiplayer. Now, when I'm saying no multiplayer, what I mean is there was actually multiplayer in 2 and 3, Prime 2 and 3, and those were side things. This was actual couch multiplayer. That was just death matches and stuff, and I think they had some other features on there. And this one was only online, and unfortunately I bought my Wii U way after the Wi-Fi, after the Nintendo Wi-Fi service was shut down, so I don't know how that went, but I'm pretty sure it was online only. Shame they should have had a couch co-op, couch multiplayer feature, and then I think Prime Pinball had multiplayer, but the main thing, and then also I forgot Hunters. Hunters had multiplayer as a side thing as well, and that one was local and co-op, and that one did multiplayer well. The main campaign wasn't that great, but the multiplayer was where it was at. Now, what am I saying about this? And then, of course, there was, what was it called? I actually have a sort of pamphlet thing for it here. Uh, no, actually, it's in Metroid Prime 2. Can I say that I've been starting playing Metroid Prime recently, and the game is just so beautiful, and even the fact that it's not like HD, and it's I think the best it's ever gotten is to just standard definition. It still looks great. Like it's aged tremendously. It's aged well tremendously, and I find that beautiful. Okay, so I can't actually find the pamphlet which talks about uh, that Hunter's demo that was supposed to be coming, but that was just like a multiplayer sort of demo that came out before Hunters was released. That was all it was. Now, I want to also... So yeah, so there was no actual like co-op. It was all centered around Samus herself getting these missions done. Now, she did sort of cooperate with the Galactic Federation, but but she's handled things by herself, which is how Metroid's been and how it should have been. And actually, can I be honest, this is really essentially just a fanfic that was actually done by the creator. And actually, there's one thing also I want to say. People keep crediting... let me make sure I pronounce this correctly. Metroid. Yeah, people keep crediting Yoshio Sakamoto, but, you know, another creator was Gunpei Yokoi. Gunpei Yokoi. He was a essential part of Metroid when it was created, and he didn't really receive that much recognition, and I think it's a shame. But, you know, people keep crediting Sakamoto when, you know, there are other people there who helped make Metroid. And so Sakamoto is where he's responsible for this thing here. But yeah, and I know what you're thinking right now. There is a co-op Metroid game. No, that is not a Metroid game. Federation Force is a farce. That's what it is, a Federation farce. Because that is not a Metroid game, and that is not how a Metroid game should be handled. And that's my concern for Prime 4 with Bandai Namco, is the fact that they can have multiplayer, but have it as a separate thing. You know, like how they handled it with Prime 1, 2, and Hunters. Keep that as like a set thing. Don't put multiplayer inside the main campaign itself. You know, there's a reason why Samus is regarded as a lone bounty hunter, because she works by herself. And I know, yeah, in Prime 3, she did have other bounty hunters, but they went off, they did their own thing. She wasn't fighting alongside with them, you know. And if anything, Samus was really backing up the Galactic Federation at that time. She wasn't necessarily working alongside them. She was just, you know, backup. So you can't necessarily say, oh yeah, we'll toss in Samus. You know, you can have a local, you can have a couch co-op or a local co-op or online co-op with your friends playing through the campaign. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it should work. Samus is a single-player experience. That's how it, I mean, Metroid is a single-player experience. It's always been that way, and wow, it's gotten darker. It's probably gonna, like, rain or something like that. I don't know how the lighting is in here, but yeah, probably sucks. But I'll try to wrap this up. But those are my concerns with Metroid, because I love this series, and like I said, this is truly a masterpiece right here. What they did with the original Prime game, I love it, and I'm just concerned that they might mess it up. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Bandai Namco's doing Prime 4. There's so much, I guess, evidence pointing towards it, but I also know that they have some dev people who are doing Star Wars 1313, the canceled game. That was supposed to be a single player experience, so that gives me some hope that they'll keep it as primarily a single player experience, but have multiplayer aspects as far as a separate thing. It's like, here is the meat and potatoes, here is the main dish, and that is a great single player experience. But for dessert, after you're done with all of that, it's like a nice little side thing. It's a nice little multiplayer experience you can have online with your friends, or, which I'm hoping, which they add, is a couch multiplayer. And that's what I want. I don't want you to shoehorn multiplayer in just because it's the popular thing. People say like, oh yeah, well, Destiny does it, and, well, look at Destiny 2, but that's a different reason as to why it sucks right now. But, you got Destiny doing it, so it's so fine. But no, what they should do is, what they've sort of just done. I'm just, like, really repeating myself at this point. But it's just, I'm concerned, because I love Metroid. It's perhaps one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's definitely within my top 5 favorite Nintendo franchises. Perhaps even higher than that. Yeah, it's probably like within my top 3, because the other franchises that Nintendo makes, Legend of Zelda and Smash Brothers. And then, like, Metroid. Those are, like, my favorite Nintendo franchises. And so, to see them mess up like they did with Federation Force really hurts me. Because I just love the franchise so much. I haven't even had a major complaint, with the exception of this game, but I haven't complained about any of the Metroid games because I was always able to enjoy them somehow. Even Hunters, which wasn't that great, it still was something to do. Another sort of pseudo Metroid Prime on the go, and Metroid 2. It's not a great game, but it's a nice little, especially for the time period. Metroid and Metroid 2, those definitely are outdated, and they needed their remakes. Super Metroid, I don't necessarily see needing to be remade, and Fusion doesn't need to be remade. Prime Trilogy just needs to be remade, to be honest. You can give it an HD remake, but it doesn't necessarily need to happen. I would love to actually see that happen. For the Switch, have an HD trilogy. That would be beautiful, because, the lighting, everything they did with the artwork, it just looks so beautiful that it's perhaps one of the best looking games on the GameCube, if I may be honest here. And it's aged tremendously well. I could probably play this game 20 years from now and just be like, wow, Retro Studios did a great job with this game. But yeah, if they did that, I would like to see an HD remake for, the Switch. I would like to have them maybe have, I know with the third one they would most likely need to have motion controls, but I would like to be able to play with an actual controller for 1 and 2, because I didn't necessarily catch on with the Wii remote. That didn't necessarily suit me when I was playing it. I know that some people actually prefer that method, but I actually would rather just sit there with this in my hand. I actually just like this, But yeah, that's it. So I just want to get this off my chest. Let me know what you think. Do you want there to be like a co-op feature in Prime 4? Are you like me? You would rather have a separate single player campaign, but then just have multiplayer be its own thing? Do you want a Metroid Prime Trilogy remake on this? Yeah, remake. No, remaster. Remaster, not a remake. A remaster. Do you want a remaster for the Switch? Let me know in the comments below. So, until next time, everyone. I am iamxeracon signing off. Have a good one. Sorry for rambling on.